Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our customer success webinar. My name is Alok Pant. I'm CEO of Unwired. I'm based in Houston, Texas. And the title of the webinar today is Transforming Asset Management for Facilities with Mobile Inspection and Maintenance App. And joining me today is Andy Albert, who's president of Airline Fabricare Systems based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So thank you, Andy, for joining.
Thank you.
And joining me today is my colleague Srinidhi, who will also be speaking and also doing a demo of the application. So before we dive into the webinar, some quick housekeeping notes. Please submit your questions throughout you can submit them throughout the webinar in the Q&A section in the out here. And we also want to have an interactive Q&A at the end, so you will have an opportunity to ask your questions. We also have a special couple of special offers for you. We're offering a special proof of concept for all attendees, and also a free hour of consulting to help you figure out if you want to digitize your asset management or inventory management. So our main speaker today is Andy Albert. He's got over 20 years of experience in aviation management. He's led Airline Fabricare to become a trusted partner for airlines and airports and other companies, all over actually the US. And with that, Andy, if you want to maybe introduce yourself to the audience, and then we can move along.
Yeah, as Alok said, I have an aviation background. I spent a little over 25 years in aviation management with both TWA. For those folks that are a little older, they might remember that carrier, and then American Airlines. And I've been with Airline Fabricare for about 10 years.
Great, excellent. And my background has been software consulting and a lot of product management. But today the focus is on Andy, and he's going to really share his experience. So before we dive into the application, maybe a quick introduction about Airline Fabricare. Andy, go ahead, please.
Okay, so specializing in high customer contact assets that are widely distributed. And that's kind of a mouthful, but I think it'll make more sense as we go on. So we're a provider of asset management, cleaning and maintenance services for facilities or aircraft or universities. Offerings include manufacturing, installation, cleaning, disinfection, refurbishment, warehousing. We can service major airlines, airports, and other facilities such as rail and bus. And obviously dedicate to operational excellence and delivering on customer satisfaction.
Great. Okay, so we just wanted to share a quick overview about Unwired. So we are a Houston headquartered company. We focus on digital transformation, asset management, inventory management, field service are some of the areas we are really focusing on. You can see some of our solutions there. It's a mobile asset management, right? So whether you're a refinery or you're a building operator or you're managing airports, we build applications to enable that field service, the worker to do their job, anytime, anywhere. We also have a digital forms application. You can convert any paper form to digital. And of course, we are also innovating around AI, artificial intelligence, including generative AI. And just a quick word on differentiators. So we really want to focus on customers, making them referenceable, and their success is our success. And we are also a certified SAP partner. Let's now dive into the meat of the presentation today. So Andy, maybe a good place to start is the pain problems, right? So yes, I think there was, you wanted to get away from paper, get better cost visibility, inventory, right? Better inspections, lesser time to repair, I guess. With that as context, maybe can you share maybe the 2 or 3 the biggest pain problems that you had at the beginning?
Yeah, so this software was initially launched with the DFW airport. And so while we were traditionally an onboard aircraft company, and that's where we did most of our work, we came to the realization that assets inside an aircraft, which could be seats or seat belts or carpet or any of those things that are high customer contact and widely distributed. Really, a gate hold area in an airport is just a fuselage with stuff inside of it, and it doesn't take off. So that really allowed us to expand our thinking on what we may be able to work with. So we actually launched this software with the DFW airport, and DFW is no different than anyone else. It's a big area. It's 30 square miles. It's bigger than Manhattan. So there is a lot of space and a lot of stuff. So traditionally, reports were captured on paper, spreadsheets, or call-ins to a comm center, and there's a whole chain of custody issue when someone's calling someone who's calling someone who's calling someone about a problem that's in an area, and there's not a lot of information about it. So we sat down and really tried to provide a path for that information to flow in both directions. The other problem that they had is there would be multiple issues in one area. One was reported, there's a tear in the corner of a seat. And a mechanic would eventually go out a couple of days after the report, make the repair, but it wasn't the seat that the reporter was talking about. Or they would have 4 calls for the same issue and no one knew it had been reported. So there was no ability to identify a specific asset in question. There were delayed repair and maintenance cycles, no parts BOMs, chain of custody issues, and no real work levers. So how are you going to plan your work once it's identified? Poor compliance tracking. And again, this is not a knock on any particular customer. This is very standard when you have very large organizations like this. Chain of custody issues, paper tracking. One of the things that we keep track of for DFW Airport are charging ports. And if a charging port needs to be reset, people were just resetting them. They weren't recording where the reset took place. So you don't know if the issue that's causing the reset is based on the individual unit or if it's a systemic power issue. There's no data whatsoever. Inventory management, there wasn't a tie-in between repairs and inventory, and limited data visibility for informed decision. How many repairs are made by location, by particular asset, by asset component, how many parts have been used. We currently also have this software launched in the Denver airport, and we just started that contract in January. There is a unit in the Denver airport that is less than a year old, and so far it has a 67% fail rate. So while it isn't a majority of the seating there, it is probably 15% of the seating there. It has an extremely high fail rate, which you wouldn't know if you didn't have the data.
Right. No, thanks, Andy. And I think the problems you're mentioning are, I know we're talking about airports and airlines, but it's all about assets, right? And so I think what you mentioned about inventory and not being able to track, we find the same issues in chemical plants, utilities, refiners, all that. So I think it cuts across all industries. So I think that was a good summary of pain problems. And by the way, DFW is Dallas-Fort Worth for people not familiar with DFW. So the problems were there. And so we found a solution. So we partnered with you to build this app for you. So I know it works on iOS and Android and offline. And but among the features of the solution, are there 3 or 4 that really stand out for you that were like, wow, this made a difference?
Yeah. So while we were in the beginning stages of working through the development of this software, we got a call from the DFW airport. And they said they wanted us to start auditing their trash cans. So they have about 1,200 trash cans spread out over the area the size of Manhattan. So we got off the phone. Of course, we're going to do it. But we started thinking, why would a customer want to pay another vendor or a mechanic to go out and audit an asset that they have spread out over their area when that asset is already being touched 3 or 4 times a day by the janitorial staff. They're dumping those trash cans. And so that kind of led us into an approach to take with this software. And the difference between this software and other software is really in the data collection. So what we set out to do was to develop a software platform that would collect meaningful and accurate and actionable data extremely quickly and easily by non-maintenance type personnel. In fact, at DFW and Denver, most of the people using this asset management maintenance software are customer experience agents. So this platform ties all of the information for a particular asset to an identifier that's on the asset. In this case, it's a barcode. And it could be a seat number on an aircraft or in a theater or a dorm room or a room on a cruise ship. It could be any of those things. But the barcode, the information is tied to the individual identifier on the asset. So all the person making the report has to do is know where the barcode is. They scan the barcode. They say they'll be asked where they're standing at. Are you, in DFW's example, are you standing at gate C7? That's asset tracking. We're constantly tracking the asset every time we report. Yes, I am. What issue do you have? You scan the barcode. What issue do you have? Seat's broken. And then we ask you to take a picture. That's it. It's done. And in the background, all of the information that any maintenance personnel would need is imported into the work order or repair file. The other thing that we did, you see 2 boxes on this landing screen, and everybody has their own landing screen. That happens to be one of mine. The first box says 55, the second box says 53. We thought that if we were going to ask people who are non-maintenance related to go out and actually help us compile data for issues, maintenance data, they're going to want something in return. And what you get from this is, at this point on my landing page, I had reported 55 issues. Of those 55, 53 had been closed. So there's a real-time update that closed the loop that tells the customer experience person or the janitorial staff or whoever it was that I valued the time you took to make the report and I've acted on the report. Thank you. End-to-end tracking on issue detection to resolution. That's what this is. Cost projections. We also tie everything into a budget. So every time we make a repair, all the budgets are updated for parts or repair costs. And we have customizable dashboards, which I think are a huge plus.
Excellent. So Andy, I guess if I could just maybe summarize the main points, I think you mentioned was you really focus on making it easy for data collection. Anybody can collect data, customer experience or janitorial stuff. And also you tied in the cost and the inventory, everything to make, basically achieve, I guess, operational excellence. And of course, the app runs on iOS, Android, and also on the web. So cross-platform application. Okay, great. Key capabilities, I think you touched upon it, but I think we're talking of inspections, we're talking of repair, inventory cost control. So we can give an overview. And then I'll talk, making sure that the SLAs are being tracked, right, for between customer and you. Audits, right, that's very important. And again, you touched upon the user experience, making that very seamless and really helping manage the asset over the life cycle, right? So those are some of the capabilities. And I would request if you could probably maybe highlight a couple of these among these 8 points.
So a couple of points I'll make that I think are huge pluses with the software. So visual asset mapping, the approach that we took with this, because we currently do work on aircraft and we do work in airports. Yeah, we took an ordered versus unordered approach. So an ordered approach for an asset would be on an airline or in a theater. It's row 7, seat 8. Everyone knows where that is. So if it's an ordered asset, the software has the capability of a visual diagram of the unit. So on an aircraft, it would look much the same as it does when you're trying to pick your seat when you buy a ticket on American Airlines. I can click on seat 1A, the parts are associated to it. Any issues are associated to it. It's very easy to report an issue and to fix an issue and to know exactly what parts you need out of what inventory store. For unordered, there is a digital buildup in the background of the structure. So at DFW, it would be DFW down to the next level, all the terminals down to the next level, all the gates. So in the background, there is a digital representation of the whole DFW layout that allows us to start to place the assets where they are and to help the customer keep track of those assets and help our maintenance guys find them. A couple of other things, we're able to, once there's a service request that's been open, we're able to sort that service request. And so we can sort it. That's the work lever that I was talking about earlier. We can sort it by location. So if we want to send one mechanic out to Terminal A, I can just look at the Terminal A issues. Or if we have a particular stock of parts or a lack of stock of parts, we can make the repairs or plan the repairs by parts. And then there's also a time element. So what's been open the longest or what's a safety related issue, and we can reorder the open work orders by that. If I move over to key capabilities, a fully configurable dashboard and reports has proven to be extremely helpful. I think we did a good job when we were working together to outline the software to say that we are just going to collect every bit and piece of data by asset that we can, because we know at some point it may become important. So while all that data is sitting in the background, multiple customers like to look at that data in a different way. And Onvired has allowed us the ability to very easily change how that data becomes meaningful and is represented to the customers.
So we talked about anything on this service delivery, tracking SLAs or any other thing, audits. You want to highlight anything interesting here, Andy?
One interesting thing on audits. So we do timed audits once a month, once a quarter, whatever that is. And we can set those audits up by area, by asset type, by a piece of the asset, anything that any way you would want to slice that. We also have the ability to do ad hoc audits. And the reason that's important, if a customer like, let's say the Denver airport is concerned about a particular asset or an airline, they want to check headrest on a particular fleet type. We can easily, it takes 30 seconds to set up an ad hoc audit, which is a one-time audit that requires our employees or our subcontractors to go out and look at one specific thing with a clear task of what they should be looking for and what data we should be gathering. And the fact that we can add those audits in 30 seconds and they become immediately trackable is outstanding.
Great. All right. Okay, so I think, so we've talked about the pain problems, the solution, some of the key features, and this always comes up, right? So can you quantify any benefits, or can you at least talk to some, qualitative benefits? So I think it's been up maybe a year or so. What kind of benefits have you been able to track, Andy?
So I like to tell a launch story, and it's a short one. So when we launched this software, we did a soft launch, and it was for the trash cans at the trash receptacles at DFW. So 1,200 trash cans spread out over an area the size of Manhattan. When somebody reported a trash can had an issue, it was a trash can on the C concourse, kind of between these gates. Here's the issue. That went to a call center, that went to a group that sent an email, that went to a mechanic, and he had a paper file, and it's broken. So we went out and we barcoded the trash cans. We tied all of the trash can individual model information to the barcode, and we tied the location to the individual asset and the barcode. So brand new, just got done, hadn't really been used. I was flying out on the last flight out to a location. It was St. Louis, so it's about an hour and 40-minute flight. And I decided to get there early and just walk the concourses and find some broken trash cans and test, what's broken here, what's going to work, what's not going to work. So that typically, if it got repaired at all, would have been 3, 4, 7, 8 days, 2 weeks, whatever it would have been. It would have been a mess. And so I found 2 trash cans in 2 different terminals that were broken. I scanned the barcodes. I acknowledged that the trash cans were still in their original position. I said the door won't open. I took a picture of the door of the trash can, and I hit send. And I did that twice. I got on my plane. I took my hour and 40-minute flight, and because it was brand new, if you remember those boxes, my left box said 2 and my right box said 0 because they hadn't been addressed. I just reported them. I took my hour and 40-minute flight to St. Louis. I got off, and just for grins, I looked at my phone, not really expecting anything. And I had a 2 on the left-hand side and a 2 on the right-hand side, which means in about 2 hours, and the people who fix our trash cans are subcontractors, so they don't really know me at all. A random guy, that's me, reported 2 issues on 2 individual trash cans in 2 different terminals, and they were 2 different problems or required 2 different sets of parts. A mechanic had came on his shift, identified saw the issues, the open work request, looked at the pictures, picked the right parts to take, went out and found the trash cans, repaired the trash cans, and took pictures of the repairs. So we went from weeks to literally hours right off the launch. And so for faster turnaround for inspection and repairs, it's not even close to what it was before. Optimized inventory management and reduction costs. So we have some estimates. We think we're projecting in DFW that we'll do 7,000 asset repairs this year. And by asset repairs, we mean an asset could be a 4-chair unit, and we have to replace 3 seat covers for that one repair. We'll do about 7,000 repairs. We estimated that once a mechanic decides to make the repair, our software saves 1 fully allocated man hour per repair. That doesn't account for the 2 weeks that it remained broken or the fact that there wasn't parts and nothing was tied together. So at a fully allocated rate of $50 an hour, 7,000 repairs is a $350,000 annual savings 2024 for the DFW airport. It'll be similar numbers for Denver, although their assets are newer. We're going to do about 408,000 in DFW and about the same number in Denver asset inspections. So a little over 800,000 asset inspections. And the thing again that really sets us apart is prior to this software, the maintenance team associated with this work was really the handful of mechanics that were doing it. Because the front end, the user interface of this software was designed to encourage non-maintenance people to do this, to gather this information and make these reports. The maintenance team, without adding a head, has been expanded to over 100 people. So in DFW, we have about 108 users that are non-maintenance employees that are out collecting this data. And we just launched this in January in Denver, and we're up to 33 there. These people are actively collecting maintenance, which also turns out to be customer experience data without adding a single head to what was already there. And then the last bullet, customer experience scores up, asset management costs down. The asset management costs are definitely down. It's hard to quantify what it means to fix a seat or an asset, charging station, trash receptacle, whatever the assets are. It's hard to quantify what your savings by fixing it in a couple hours as opposed to weeks. But one thing, and again, the DFW airport for the last 2 years has been awarded the best customer experience airport for large airports in North America last 2 years in a row. And while a lot of work goes into that, the VP of customer experience at the DFW airport has acknowledged that our work is at least a piece of that. In no way all of it, but it's a piece of that award because it's all customer facing. And the last number I'll give you is the number of customers. So if you just use DFW and Denver Airport, it's 150 million customers annually that touch these assets. So it is the opportunity to have a very large effect very quickly, just based on asset management from a customer experience perspective also, very quickly, very easily.
Fantastic, Andy. This was really good. Right from your story, the launch story to the numbers you've given, $350,000 in annual savings for just one airport. I think it's the business benefits are really well articulated here. So I think, and this cuts across industries because you mentioned about planning and budgeting and customer experience, right? And giving people the ability to notify anybody, right? Not just the maintenance people. I think this will resonate well with anybody, whether you are a plant, anybody, an executive walking on the floor notices something, can report it, right? So I think it cuts across everybody's pain problem. So let's quickly go to a demo now. I think we are, So maybe Srinidhi, let's show people, what we're talking about.
Yeah, so you should be able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So this is my iPhone screen, right? So as you see, the user interface is tailor-made for an end user to report, repair, and work on the issues, right? So I have like 24 here. So 24 had been reported and then 24 have been closed. So let me go and then identify a concern. I'm not in an airline. I'm not inside an aircraft, but let me just go ahead and then do that, right? So I'm going to select my fleet from here and then say, so what's my tail number? So I'll be presented with this LOPA, right? So this is the
nice visual representation, right?
Visual representation. So I would exactly know where the seats are. So let me find this 2A, right? And
I guess you like to fly first class, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Keep
okay. Going. So yes, backrest cover. Yes, I think that, so this is broken, right? And now, so let me also add some photos to this. So this is just my laptop here. So I'll capture that, take that photo. And if I want to mark a certain part here saying that this is broken, yeah, let me mark that right away. Then, okay. So this picture will be available for somebody doing the repair, right? So that they can pinpoint exactly what needs to be replaced. So let me say continue. And yeah, and I in one shot, so I can select multiple seats and then do that. So let me just say continue and say that, okay, so I have a mechanical repair, say handle broken. Okay, and then say damaged parts. So this is my part here. So I can review that and then say complete, right? So that's gonna just create one service request, right? Now my count got updated here. So I have now 25 service requests created, out of which 24 closed. So that's how quickly I can create one service request. Now let me go into repairing that part, right? So let me go to the repair, and now I'm assuming the role of the repairer here. So 783, so this is going to show up immediately in my screen as to which tail number has an open service request, right? Something that needs to be fixed. So let me go ahead and then just click on that, and then this is going to show me all the parts that I would require for fixing this. So let me go inside this, and it's going to highlight that exact seat which has an issue. I also get to see that image which got passed over from somebody who reported the issue, right? And another thing here is this the time that you are seeing here, right? So 71:59 remaining. So that is the SLA that we have set for this particular customer, where any repairs need to be completed within 72 hours, right? The moment you create a service request, that timer starts ticking, and that's what you're seeing here. So I'm aware of how much time is actually getting spent on completing this repair, right? Now, as a repairer, I can also add some additional photos to say that, okay, hey, so I repaired this, and then this is my completion image. I can do that. I can annotate, select that. So this is my repaired photo, right? So I have before and then after photos to clearly establish that relationship here, and then say submit. At least select a part to continue. Yeah, so let me select a part, whatever part that got replaced during this process. So then, and then let's hit submit, right? And then that repair completed successfully. So let me go back here to my dashboard, and if you notice that number just got updated. So that part which got picked up, right, during that repair also goes into my budget and spending for this particular customer. So my inventory count goes down because I just consumed a part, right? And whatever cost of that part also goes in as a cost or an expenditure towards my budget, whatever that's set for this particular customer. Right? Another cool thing about this is the scheduled services. So scheduled services are basically periodic services. It can be audits or tasks, right, which happen for an aircraft or an airport, right? So we just select that, and then I have a monthly audit that is already scheduled. I can also create one ad hoc service, which Andy was mentioning, which is something that I would want to create at the nick of time to carry out some maintenance activities. So monthly audit. So let me, so here I'm required to monitor all the seats and identify if there are any issues, right? So let me just select 1A. By default, if I do not find any issue with that seat, the score is 4. 4 is like the highest, right? No issues found. If I have some issues there, so let me just mark it as requires monitoring. And if I, so this is down to the part level, right? And I'm saying that reporting a missing item on a safety issue, right? So this is what would happen here, where I would get to report on each of the issues. If there are no issues, I don't have to do anything. If there are issues, I'll just go ahead and then mark those. So let me just pick up something else here and then say to continue and then submit, right? So that basically submits my audit. Now, what happens after this audit, right? Now, the moment I submit the audit, the background, the system is going to create something called as notifications. So if you can relate that notifications to SAP, so these are concerns which are identified, but not really tracking, because these are the concerns identified by somebody doing the audit. You can convert these notifications to service requests and have them completed, or you can close those notifications yourself, right? So all that happens from the from this solution, right? So Alok, I'm going to take them through real quickly to the admin portal, right? So this is the place where this is the dashboard that we have. So completely customizable dashboard based exactly on the requirements. So here I can see the audit score and how am I faring with first class and the business class. What's my point of focus in terms of the compliance, right? And the budget and the expenditure against that. And what Andy was mentioning before, so this is something cool. So service requests, let me see, yeah. Yeah, I do not have any open service requests, so that's what is showing up here. So I can go ahead and then filter them. So let me say 321T and then say status closed, and I should be able to see that service request here. Right, so this is one that I just completed, right? And I can see that item here, so I can see the before and the after photos, the parts which got consumed during that, and the cost which we incurred during this process, right? So this whole thing ties together in this dashboard where you really get a control over what data is flowing between the mobile app and the backend, Yeah. So yeah, and you also get to monitor quite a few things.
So I think that's good. So thanks for your for the demo, Srinidhi. I think the cool part was how we
Yeah.
are tying in the cost with the maintenance work and bringing it all together. And as I think Andy was mentioning, the focus was on data collection, getting better insights, and now we are seeing
Yeah.
how the dashboard is it's all about data-driven decision. Go ahead. Andy.
Hey, Alok, I would jump in for one more thing there on what Srini just covered. So that was the ordered side. And I think another really cool feature having come out of the airline industry, those aircraft could be a rail car, it could be a cruise ship, whatever. They travel continuously. So the opportunities to address those issues are kind of not frequent. So when you do get the opportunity to address them, you have to be 100% prepared. What the software does that's very cool. Let's say that aircraft went through a couple of audits before an airline was able to get it into a city where it can be repaired overnight. The software will look at multiple inventory depots and compare what is required for that aircraft with what's in that inventory depot, or it can tie them all together and you can move inventory around your system. Then what it allows you to do is to build a pick list. And in the pick list, I can see I need these many backs, these many bottoms, this is the part number, I need a few seats, whatever you need. And you can actually build a kit during the day so that when the overnight guys come in and they have a couple hours to run up on the plane when it's available, they don't have to spend time pulling inventory out of stock and trying to figure out what they need. The list is there, the kit's built, they just go.
Great, excellent. So you can really plan and schedule so much
Yes.
effectively. And I think this can be used by anybody who has moving assets, I guess, assets that move from place to place. So thank you. So let's open up for questions and answers. We have a couple of minutes. So, and we can, Sushil, you can open up the line. If anybody wants to ask a question, they can also speak. Or is there anything in the Q&A chat box?
Yeah, so there's a question, how this app is how much is this customizable as per, various industries and organizational requirements?
So it is extremely customizable. So because we really drove down the data that we wanted to collect by asset, even though we couldn't think of what it might be used for at the time, because it's all there to start with, and because of the ability, I mean, you can see on the screen up there now that you see little boxes that all of those boxes can change very easily, and the data can be presented in a different way, different denominator, different numerator, bar graph, line graph, speedometer, however you want it, however you want to see it, it is extremely customizable.
Right, and let me just add to that. So because this whole thing is about managing an asset, right? Inspecting, repairing, and inventory management. So I think these are basic principles for any asset management kind of area. So I think it goes across industries. So very yes, couldn't agree with Andy more. Any other questions? You can speak up. The lines are open. Okay, let's take one last question if there is anything in the Q&A, Sushil. Otherwise.
Yes, Anu. So, which is the integration system for this solution, or what are the integration?
So I can take a
Yeah.
Let me take a cut at that. So basically, if you want to integrate this mobile web app with your backend system, maybe it's SAP Plant Maintenance or it's Maximo, IBM Maximo, or any other system, right? Infor, yeah, you can integrate this using REST APIs, web services. So integration is pretty easy, especially nowadays. So that's not an issue at all. I would like to thank Andy and Srinidhi for your participation today. And the audience, of course, thank you for your time. We will send you the slide deck and the recording of this webinar. And again, we are offering a free proof of concept. So if you are interested, please do write to us. Once again, thank you everyone for your time. Have a good day. Bye.